Joining us now is CNN Global Affairs analyst Brett McGurk. He's a former White House coordinator for the Middle East and North Africa. Brett, it's really good to see you this morning. You were on last night just as this was beginning to unfold, even before we knew what targets were hit, who was killed, and how far this wave went. You know more about strategy here and the players here than most anyone. What is your view on this Israeli attack on Iran this morning?
Well, Kate, I'd make 3 points. I think the Israelis are calling this Operation Rising Lion. I would call it Operation Kitchen Sink. As you've been reporting, as Sarah just reported, this is airstrikes, sabotage, Mossad, an incredibly extensive operation that is still ongoing. It has eliminated in a single night the entire military command structure of Iran. I just cannot underestimate how significant this is. The head of Iran's military, General Bagheri, the head of their missile and drone program, General Hajizadeh, the head of their National Security Council, Ali Shamkhani, former head but really still acted in that role, and the head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Hussein Salami, who organizes all the proxy groups across the Middle East, Hezbollah, Hamas, and others through the Quds Force. So incredible. Second point, this shows just total intelligence dominance and penetration by Israel into Iran. And that really limits what Iran can do in response here. The people who would have met this morning to figure out how to respond are all dead. And there will be no surprise. Israel will know clearly exactly what Iran is going to do. I think they'll be ready for it. There will be a response, but the ability of the Iranians to organize a coordinated response is significantly degraded. I think those saying this is going to lead to an uncontrollable Middle East war, I think that's really overheated because Iran has just been significantly degraded here, and Israel clearly knows what's coming. Third point, importantly, why is this happening? I have to say, I lived through this. October 7th and the Hamas attack into Israel changed the strategic equation in the Middle East. Iran made a fateful decision after that to join in the attack against Israel, lighting up Hezbollah, the Houthis, all the proxies in Syria and Iraq to attack Israel, and twice launching massive attacks from Iran into Israel. And Israel made clear after October 7th, it will no longer ever allow threats to fester. That's really what this is all about. And what happened in the last 10 days is Iran significantly ramped up its nuclear program. The IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, found just flagrant violations by Iran in meeting its obligations. And just finally, in Vienna on Thursday, 19 countries found Iran in violation of its nuclear commitments. First time that's happened in 20 years. So the choices Iran made here were just massive miscalculations. So that's the backdrop, and I can't say exactly how this is going to play out, but that is basically led to this extraordinary operation by the Israelis into Iran.
You were involved in helping prepare Israel's defense after Iran launched its massive attack in October. What is the president's national security team doing right now? President Trump's national security team, he's set to meet in the Situation Room with them at 11 a.m. this morning. What's going on behind the scenes?
Yeah, okay, well, fortunately, we lived through, in April of last year, a massive attack, 170 drones, 120 ballistic missiles, 30 cruise missiles launched from Iran against Israel. That attack was defeated. In October, Iran launched 200 ballistic missiles against Israel. I was in the Situation Room for that. It takes 13 minutes for a missile to be launched from Iran to Israel, only a limited window to shoot them down or deflect them. Both the defenses in both those incidents were highly effective. Our military structure through CENTCOM, it's all the same people. They know exactly what they're doing, and I am sure that is all being put in place now. But I have to say, it's going to be very difficult for Iran to organize a response like this. I think they are all probably in bunkers waiting for the other shoe to drop. So I'm certain we are getting ready, and we will help defend Israel. I think the president made that clear. That is absolutely right. We are not involved in this direct attack, but we will help defend Israel. And those preparations are underway, and it's fortunate. Again, I lived through this. I helped coordinate the defense twice last year, so we very much know how to do this.
When it comes to retaliation, and as you seem to be describing, Brett, that response from Iran this time might be very different from what we have seen in the past because of how crippling this attack was and how crippled they have become and how deeply Israeli intelligence has penetrated into Iran. What we've heard from Iran ahead of this was that Iran vowed to strike U.S. targets in the region in the event of any attack on its nuclear program. The line from the defense minister recently was, if a conflict is imposed on us, all U.S. bases are within our reach, and we will boldly target them in host countries. What do you make of that in the light of today, of what we're seeing here?
So they have that option, and they might try. I think if they do, then I think that brings the Americans in a very significant way, and that'll make the situation even worse for Iran, and I think they know that. Something here is significant, Kate. After that October attack I mentioned, Israel did launch airstrikes into Iran, unprecedented. They took out all of Iran's strategic air defenses. To this day, Iran has not responded to that. Iran is in a very, very weak position. But listen, they will respond. They will try to muster a significant response. I think their ability to do so is limited, but there will be a response. We are not out of this at all. And I think we have to make sure, if I was in the White House right now, number one, protection of Americans. What are our facilities? What are our protections? What are our defenses? That is point number one. Second, helping the Israelis defend themselves against what's coming, and also having visibility into what the Israelis are still planning, because this is very much ongoing. I would say
Brett,
one final point, Kate, just the nuclear program. This does not take out all of Iran's nuclear facilities, most likely. Iran still has that card. They could try to push rapidly for a nuclear weapon. I think that would be, again, a strategic miscalculation, but this has some ways to go.
More on the breaking news. Israel is warning it will continue its game-changing assault on Iran after damaging the regime's nuclear and military capabilities. I'm joined now by Dan Senor. He is a former Romney campaign foreign policy advisor, co-author of 2 books on Israel, and the host of the very popular podcast, Call Me Back. Thank you so much for being here, Dan. First, I want to get your big picture takeaway about the moment we're in. It feels different for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, for 2 big reasons, I would say. One is, if you go back to October 7th, 2023, my biggest concern about October 7th was not just that Israel felt shattered and Israeli society felt shattered, an extraordinary human catastrophe, although that was paramount on all of our minds. But from a strategic level, Israel was perceived to be in the region to be a paper tiger. Mm-hmm. And if you look at so much of the gains Israel had made diplomatically, geopolitically in the region, the Abraham Accords, path towards Saudi normalization, so much of that was about Israeli strength, that these other, enemies of Israel or former enemies of Israel or future friends of Israel, however you want to explain it in the region, or skeptics of Israel, wanted to partner with Israel because Israel was viewed as so strong militarily from an intelligence standpoint. And suddenly Israel on October 7th looked like a paper tiger. And I think you saw a lot of players in the region pulling back from Israel. That's all going to be changing. And you saw some of that, obviously, with the pager attack against Hezbollah and the way Israel systematically took out Hezbollah and Nasrallah, what Israel has done to Hamas. And now this operation we're witnessing over the last 24 hours, I think you're seeing a transformation in the Middle East and Israel's relationship in the region. I don't think we've seen any kind of transformation like this since, I'd say, the Israeli Six-Day War in 1967.